Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm here with Scott Harrison, COO of Permaquip and Aquarius. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm very well today. And yourself?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Thanks very much for joining us. So, if you could start us off and just let us know a little bit more about who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing it for, please, Scott.
So my name's Scott Harrison. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Permaquip and Aquarius. Um, I've been in rail for just over 34 years. People will say that's a lifetime. I think in an industry that one enjoys, it seems like 2 minutes. It really is a fantastic industry within the rail. Permaquip has been around for around 50 years. Its products will aid every single journey that happens on the railway. Every rail that needs to be pulled, every trolley that takes a load is generally Permaquip within the UK, but not only in the UK. So I look after the Permaquip distributors and the manufacturing overseas as well. So we cover into Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore, all of Europe, into the Middle East and into Canada as well. So a great British company and a very, very proud one for me to represent. On the Aquarius side, we basically take vehicles, Land Rovers, and we convert them into the trains. So you can drive them on track, on road, and then on track. And the thing for me, where I've got to is over many, many years of being within the rail industry, providing a service to people is what's important. So becoming COO at Permaquip and Aquarius allows me to help people that work for other people in making the job and tasks easier. So that's a good thing for me.
Excellent. So, how did you get into the rail industry then, Scott? What was your kind of starting point to get to where you are now?
I was sat on a hill in Corsica, talking to a French gentleman who was there with a small team of people installing a 1 meter railway, and his name was Francis Coulon. And later in the conversation, I found out that he was the managing director of Seco DGC, a large French railway contractor that had just won a contract within the UK. He invited for me to attend the main office in Brunel Towers in Swindon when I returned back to the UK. I thought it was just for a cup of coffee. Turned out he offered me a job, and that was plain line Great Western Renewals, and that's where I all started. So a chat on a hillside in beautiful sunshine,
Yeah.
to a Frenchman, and 34 years later, here we are.
Life's journeys, excellent. So, kind of coming up to speed with where you are today as COO, what just to kind of give a background as to what it is that you do day to day, and then we'll sort of ask after that a bit about how the journey's been since you've been there.
Yeah. So my job is it's probably one of the most interesting jobs, COO, that anybody could aspire to do. So I set the strategy and manage the operational manufacturing, compliance, and sales um, for a range of products to both distributors and to end users across the globe, which all sounds a little bit woolly. Um, and there's the mundane things, which are the financial reporting, the company's house, the accounts, the tax, and all of the great things that we have to do. But being a COO means that if you can inspire an organization to be lean and to be operationally flexible, if it can move with volume changes, it means that the people that work for you or with you, you can invest in those people.
Mhm.
So the success of the company is actually a success of the individuals that are employed as well, because they will develop in their careers. So within the Permaquip and Aquarius, the analogy that I try to give people is that if you're an F1 fan and you think about the Raging Bulls and you think about Red Bull, Permaquip is the Raging Bulls. So we take the new entrants in there, we give them the good basic training, we give them good experience, we give them a foundation in health and safety. And then when we look at the Aquarius side, the Aquarius side is more the Red Bull. It's the top performing team. It's the higher level of engineering competency. So we structure within our companies not just services and goods to our clients, but we actually service our employees as well by having a structured plan to take them forward. That's the best thing about the COO role. It enables you to touch so many people's lives internally and externally.
Great stuff. So what has the journey been like as a business since you've been there? Is it 2020 that you started? Is that right?
Yeah, so I've known the owner of Permaquip and Aquarius. It's a single individual. I've known him for about 20 years. I just come back from the United States where I was working for a corporate entity just out of Chicago. I literally got a phone call. Would you like to come and do some work for Permaquip? We really want to sort of move the business forward, refresh the business. So the order book was poor. Poor is probably the best way of putting it. The manufacturing was singular, singular suppliers, very, very subject to impact on staff numbers from our supply chain. You couldn't really grow the business if you couldn't produce materials, if you couldn't produce product. So we started a process where we increased our supply base. We manage our supply base through ISO 9001 certification to make sure that everything was good quality. It met the industry norms and standards. And then once we knew that we had product availability, then we then started to push with the sales, acquisitions, and so forth. So we've grown the company from a modest couple of £1 million a year turnover. I think that combined between the two with Permaquip and Aquarius, I think we're about 8 million this year in 5 years. Growth of the business in niche market sectors is good when you have knowledge and you have information and good products. If you do not have a supply chain and if you do not have a skilled employment basis that can do all of the regulatory tasks, all of the LOLA inspections, all of the safety critical inspections, a business will fail. So the journey for Permaquip and Aquarius hasn't just been about filling an order book. It's about restructuring a business to be able to cope with peaks and troughs, UK demand, overseas demand on a long-term basis, which is where we are now.
Fantastic. And how have, just out of interest, a question popping up there, how have you learned to, I suppose, implement that strategy or develop the strategy?
So I'm getting to an age now where probably in another 5 years it's going to be a retirement stage for me. So the way that I manage myself and obviously the people around me, we mentor. We don't direct. We mentor. We pass on knowledge and experience and scenarios on a one-to-one basis within particular fields. So we have a procurement mentoring process. We have a quality mentoring process. I will have seen over 30 plus years within the rail industry, great stories of pride, great stories of pain. So by sharing both pride and pain with your team, with your people, it allows them to be mentored and to grow. And that's one of the things that we do different within not just Permaquip and Aquarius, but within the Arcall organization, the owners organization. We take people to make people great, because if people are great, it means that the businesses are great as well. So we
Fantastic.
mentor. It's a really important for us.
Great stuff. That's a good share. Thank you for that. So in terms of the future, what that looks like, challenges and opportunities ahead, how do you see that panning out?
So again, in rail, it's a really good market. So if you think that we're on a decarbonisation pathway, it's happening all over the world. We have a population increase all over the world. There is always a demand for sustainable transport. There is growth across the world. Some of it in some areas is homegrown and home supplied, such as China. Some areas are homegrown, but very politically engulfed. America is one. It's massive organizations selling timber, trees, and lumber. They want to supply timber sleepers for railway tracks. In general, a train will travel up to about 100 miles an hour on a sleeper that's made out of wood. If you're going to go high speed, then you want to be on concretes. So some areas of the world, there's a political imbalance as well that rail just needs to work through. But ultimately, with the decarbonisation and with population growth, rail is a market that will continue to grow, and globally. So we supply, as I've said before, into Australia, which again is the same gauge as what the UK is, the same width of the railway tracks. Hong Kong, Singapore. We're in Europe. We're in the Middle East. More airports, more freight, more passenger lines. When the volume of rail track in miles or kilometers increase globally, it means that there is a bigger need for the product to maintain that asset for the next 100 years. So that's where our industry is going. It's not just UK now, it's a global view.
Proper global view there. It kind of sounds like exciting times, and it's an industry that is needed, and one is there for the future. So to move on to yourself then, Scott, a little bit more about your experience in business. You say you're looking at retirement. So over the time that you have been in business and doing what you do, what is the biggest lesson in business that you could share for us today, if there's one that you could pick?
Oh, there's only
quite a few.
Well, there's so many, but there's only one that really matters.
Yeah.
Do not put any energy into anything that you do not have any chance or opportunity to change.
Great advice.
You will waste your time. All you need to do is you need to focus on strategic goals that you have. Make sure that you take the team with you and make sure that they are achievable. If you think that there is an unachievable element to it, don't waste your time. Focus on small incremental changes to make the business and your life and everybody else that works for your lives better. Do not try and jump a million miles. Keep it small, keep it focused, make small changes, things will happen. Make a big change, big risk for failure, and probably you'll never achieve what you wanted to achieve anyway.
Great lesson. I love that. I get to sit and listen to quite a few lessons, and that definitely stands out as something that's one of my favorites, I think. Thank you for sharing that. And if you were to meet yourself at 18 again, just starting out, what would your piece of advice to yourself be?
Oh, there'd probably be two pieces of advice. First one would be listen to my father. Probably should have done.
What did he say again?
He so dad was a green jacket. He was military. He's still alive now. He worked until he was 77 years old, for a company that was in Yorkshire. In fact, Allerton Park, the Borough Bridge recycling centre there. So my dad was there for a period of time with the top stripping, when we were opening that quarry up there for greenways. So Dad was always work hard, make sure you put the effort in. So the first bit would be probably didn't do everything Dad said. So probably take his experience.
Yeah.
Um, the second thing would be is if you are offered training, if you are offered mentorship, if somebody wants to take you under the wing and there is an opportunity for you to get a I'm going to say a free certificate, something that expands your knowledge, that you can do in your work time or you can do in your own time, take it.
Mhm.
Increase your knowledge, because if you have a better knowledge base, it will mean that you make better decisions. That's the key thing. It's a self-improvement plan. You always have to have a CPD plan. Even myself. So Wednesday, tomorrow, I'm doing Institute of Directors, and I've got 2 sessions with the IOD in London, which are all about personal development for me. But the
Mhm.
personal development isn't for me, it's so that I can be more effective in delivering messages to my team in the mentoring. So I will receive a benefit, but my team will receive a benefit as well. So take as much opportunity for training, accept it, do training yourself, just expand your mind.
Yeah, another great couple of shares there to take on board, especially kind of passing down your knowledge for the next
Yeah.
generations and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Um, Inspiration. What is it that makes you want to get up and go to work every day?
I think the general thing would always be saying, you know, making a difference. But
Mhm.
how would you define making a difference? That it's a very, very big question. Um, my inspiration could be that by attending work, running a successful company, we've been able to sponsor 4 Ukrainian families um, on visas to come over, and we're training them, and they've got accommodation, and they're safe, and their family units are together, and they're strong. Um, and that's a good thing. It's a good moral thing to do.
Mhm.
It could be that the mentoring sessions that we've had with our operations director and engineering manager are seeing them through to the next level of their promotion, which will be directorships within the business for my retirement. Um, things about inspiring me are about how things progress. So my eldest daughter has came out of school. She did okay, but she's actually got a very, very good job, and she's doing very well. My middle daughter, she's just made fantastic grades at school, and she's just picked her GCSEs up, and she's now arranged study plans, and I'm very proud of that. That's a good inspiration for me, because all of the things that I nag at, they must have sunk in somewhere.
Yeah.
And then being an older person, my youngest daughter at 3 in April, so I've got a good spread between 20 and 3.
Yeah.
So the inspiration there is spending more time with her, and then watching her learn and grow, and being able to read books, and
Yeah.
playing snap cards with French, and teaching her French phrases, and all of those things to give her an appetite for such a young mind to expand in. So for me, it's all about making things better for everybody. That's
Nice.
good inspiration.
Very people orientated. Good
Yeah.
stuff. So then lastly, in terms of summarizing and drawing to a close the interview, any latest news that you'd like to share about what the company's up to? You've run through a few things, or even it's a case of sharing the website or websites for the companies. Feel free to do that now, Scott.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just a big thank you for an invitation to come and speak to you today. It's been really, really enjoyable. Um, I think for everybody else, everybody will always be mystified about what happens on rail. Um, we have a website which is permaquip.co.uk, and we have aquariusrail.com. If you have a look on those, you'll see some of the products that we do. They're all very specialized. They're all very bespoke. But it is always a good reminder that when everybody's moving around on a commuter train in the morning or moving around and doing leisure travel, that there's a workforce of plus 60 stroke 70,000 people that are out there at nights,
Yeah.
maintaining, repairing, replacing track switches, electrified line. And there are many, many small SMEs that provide the cogs, the wheels that make that happen, not just with Permaquip and Aquarius, but labor suppliers, fuel suppliers, material suppliers, all across the UK that make a combined transport system work. So yeah, have a look at rail, and again, if anybody's looking and they're thinking about new careers in rail, it's a good place to be. And if anybody's out there is looking for apprenticeships, again, look at apprenticeships. It's a good opportunity. It's a great industry to be in.
Fantastic. Nice summary there. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate all that you've shared, and I wish you all the best for the future success of the business.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.